for that. Mark says he really thinks that Russell Martin will get the Rangers job. And there's a couple of people chiming in saying, Ken here says Gerrard is the answer, sign him up ASAP. And Ken also says, Gerrard can sign tomorrow, he's out of work now. Russell Martin, of course, is being linked with the vacant Leicester City job and Norwich City job, former Norwich player. Gianni says that Gerrard might eye up the Leicester job or Southampton, for example, as a ticket back to the Premiership, his best hope. What do you think? Russell Martin, of course, ex-Rangers player as well.
I think, well, look, I really admire Russell Martin for the style of football that he tried to implement, and it's successfully implemented in the Championship with Southampton. But you're now looking at the worst performing Premier League side in the history of the English Premier League.
Aye.
And I'm afraid Russell Martin built that squad.
He needs to own it, aye.
Yep, they weren't very patient. They panicked. They dismissed him, changed him, brought in somebody with an entirely different philosophy, who was never going to get anything out of that group of players, because it was a squad designed to play in the signature style of Russell Martin. But plainly, that didn't work. So if you're saying Rangers need somebody that's qualified to do the job, experienced, and I'm just unsure where the qualifications come from for Russell Martin. He's attached. He's got his name written all over a squad which is the worst performing squad in the history of the English Premier League. I'm not sure that on the back of that you earn yourself a crack at the Rangers job. I think it'd be quite a hard sell for that reason. I do like the football. I do think it's modern, but it was also suicidal. And I can imagine the sort of goals Southampton were losing under Russell Martin at the start of this season. If these goals were to be shipped to Ibrox, there would be absolute carnage.
Bedlam. Fraser, what do you think, Russell Martin? Is he a genuine candidate to replace, I'm thinking there, Philip Clement?
Keith stole my point there at the end, man. I could not give a toss about style of football, and Rangers fans couldn't either. It's about winning. Watching that Southampton team try and play out for the back time after time, and as Keith said, some of the goals they conceded.
That was painful stuff, wasn't it, for us?
One game there was 3 instances where a goalie took a goal kick short to his central defender, and within 2 seconds they'd lost the ball. I think twice it ended in goals. It's just, like, what's the definition of insanity? You know, never have I been attached to Southampton, but I was pulling my hair out watching it. I couldn't believe they kept trying it. So you'd never get away with that at Rangers. Shouldn't get away with it at any club. If you've not got the players to play a style, ditch it and play what your players can play.
They had that style coming up in the promotion campaign, though, Fraser. So
might as well be in a different country.
Yeah, I completely agree. And also, I wonder, is Russell Martin's name getting put about because he had 5 minutes at Ibrox?
Do you think that's the case? I mean, at this time last year, he was one of the hottest properties in the Championship.
But I'm hearing, like, former Rangers player and all that.
He played for Rangers for 5 minutes, didn't he?
For 5 minutes, and at a time, what have I been talking about? I've been talking about Rangers need to be restored to the levels that they once used to operate at, which made them competitive and a credible force in their own backyard. Russell Martin's only memories of being a Rangers player were, was it Mark Warburton?
Your man, Graham Murray, doing a handstand?
Graham Murray.
Headstand.
So, if that's the standards that you want to try and restore, good luck with that.
He was a decent defender for Scotland, to be fair. I thought he was a good player, but...
No, but I'm saying if he's in the mix, if he's in the conversation because he used to play for Rangers, if that's been seen as a tick in the box for him, well, I would contend that there's a guy that's currently in the job on an interim basis that's probably not going to get it. But in terms of ticking the boxes as a Rangers player, he ticks significantly more than Russell Martin did in his short time.
I just wonder if being a Rangers man has now become a kind of a drawback for potential candidates. They've had how many Rangers men through that door in the last 3 or 4 years, and they've all failed. So I don't know. I don't think that's what they're needing. Not another one. But Russell Martin would be too much a risk for me. Too young.
Was big fella, big Rangers man.
No. The entire current interim management team, before him, Alec Ray, members of the management team.
I take your point.
I
I
don't
think that's a
think
fair
it seems to work as easily as that football management.
Mark in the comment section says, Keith, do you think Ferguson would be better as a director of football? Which, I mean...
No.
No? Okay, great.
No.
Cheers, Mark.
Look, Barry Ferguson, as I said, I've said this now for a couple of days, he doesn't believe that he's in contention for this job, right? So let's give him that, because we're all talking about it. So he doesn't believe he's going to be in the running for it, and he simply just wants to enjoy what's left of this period, and he'll remember it for the rest of his life as the period when he was actually managing Glasgow Rangers, and that's a great memory for him. I'm making a point that I think it might be a bit of a mistake to completely dismiss him or overlook him, because I think there's so many qualities that he brings to the table that Rangers could benefit from. But what I would say is I'm not sure that he would want to step away from the coalface, in terms of a director of football. I think he sees himself. I think he believes in his own head that, and with some justification, that he knows exactly what he needs to do to this group of players in order to make them competitive and functional. Mm-hmm. And I think he's worked that out in his own head, what he would do, where to be given a shot at it. I think he knows exactly what he would do. And I think that's what he would want. I think that he would feel that's the job, and you couldn't do that as easily and have a hands-on sort of approach to it if you're sitting in the director's box.
Yeah. I put up there was a picture there that just came up. Hoopsaholic saying if Nils Koppen is buying the players, it doesn't matter if Pep gets the job.
I've said that. I mean, that's the very point we were making about the recruitment. If it's true, and I think if you speak to any Celtic manager, any Rangers manager, they all tell you the same things. It's not just about having ability to make it in this city with these two clubs. You need to have something else. There needs to be something else in your DNA, something else in your character that makes you able to fill the jersey properly.
Yeah.
And if Nils Koppen, if you don't know what that is, if you get no idea, you've just kind of, as Nils Koppen, he's come in from nowhere. Does he know what he's actually looking for? Does he know what that quality looks like in a person? Because it's such a crucial point. And I think Rangers have signed there's be some talented players that have come and gone and done not very much. And there's plenty of them there that have cost a few quid. But if you've not got a filter on this, and you don't know what it is that exactly that is required and what you're looking for in someone's personality traits, you've got no chance. And you're going to end up buying player after player who simply isn't suited to the job that you're asking them to do. And that's where Rangers are. So I think what I'm actually told is that Rangers are really close now to appointing a sporting director. Really close. I think they know who it is they want.
But sorry to jump in, Keith, but so who is appointing them then? Is that the current?
I think Patrick Stewart is in charge of this one,
right.
Chief Exec. So I think they've got their guy, and I think it'll be announced sooner rather than later, and that's going to be fascinating to see who it is and his sort of beliefs and his views and his philosophies and what he thinks first and foremost about the guy that's currently sitting in the dugout. Because if he fancies Barry Ferguson, well, who knows?
Aye.
So there's a whole load of imponderables, but I think that'll be the first thing that happens. I think you can expect, the Rangers fans can expect an appointment in that position very soon. And again, that kind of moves Nils Koppen a little bit further out of the equation, doesn't it? He goes back to doing whatever it is that he's been doing.